Have you ever felt like your mind is just operating in an entirely different universe?
Oh, definitely.
Like you were physically sitting there in this dull morning meeting, just staring at a whiteboard, but your consciousness is just, well, somewhere else entirely.
Right, yeah, like you're completely checked out.
Exactly. And we throw that around as a metaphor all the time, to describe daydreaming to each other. But today, we are looking at a mathematical framework that tries to make that metaphor literally rigorously possible.
It is a wild concept.
It really is. So for you listening today, we are exploring this incredibly ambitious paper. It was published in Bye magazine, and it's authored by Dr. Melvin Sewell.
The academic dean at the Cosmic University of Echo Rift Studies, right?
That's the one. And the title alone is basically this huge gauntlet thrown down at modern physics. It's called Quantum Consciousness Transfer Across Universes, a category-theoretic formalization of the TrueFlow Force.
I mean, it is a staggering title. Truly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. As a theoretical physicist, my daily bread and butter is looking at the hard limits of reality. I deal in the rules that tell us what we absolutely cannot do.
The ultimate party pooper of the universe.
Exactly. And then a paper like this comes across the desk, seemingly just ignoring the conventional speed limits of the cosmos.
Right.
But the thing is, it backs it up with this mathematical elegance that forces you to, pull out a notepad and actually do the math.
And that is exactly our mission for you today. We are going to unpack this paper.
We have to.
Yeah, because we are bridging high-level quantum mechanics, highly abstract topology, and then just when you think we've hit the absolute ceiling of weirdness,
Oh, it gets weirder.
it gets so much weirder. We're going to plunge into the surreal cinematic lore of the Echo Rift cosmology.
Because this isn't just a standard physics paper.
No, not at all. It is a piece of what the author calls mythic infrastructure. So I'm coming at this as the enthusiastic researcher waving this brilliant paper in your face, and I need you to be the skeptical, theoretical physicist who is going to, mercilessly kick the tires on this math.
Well, my steel-toed boots are laced up and ready.
Perfect. So let's start at the absolute foundation. Before we can even talk about moving consciousness across universes, we have to define what it is we are actually moving.
Which is a huge philosophical hurdle on its own.
Totally. But Dr. Sewell's premise just starts by formalizing consciousness purely as a massless quantum state.
Right, just bypassing the biology entirely.
Yeah. And in the paper, there's this very specific equation for this. I'm going to read it out, and then I need you to translate it from physics to English.
I will do my best.
Okay, so it's written as the quantum state psi I in universe 1, tensored with a maximally entangled state phi plus, which is shared between universe 1 and universe 2, and then that yields the quantum state psi I in universe 2. So, okay, let's unpack this. What exactly am I looking at here?
Well, you are looking at the foundational mathematical recipe for quantum teleportation.
Okay.
It's written in standard Dirac notation. Those are the little brackets and vertical lines you always see in quantum physics papers.
Right, the pointy brackets.
Exactly. So that psi, the little trident symbol, that represents the complete state of your consciousness.
So that's me. That's my mind.
That's you. And the phi plus represents a bridge of quantum entanglement, actively linking universe 1 and universe 2.
Wait, hold up. Let's look at that word tensored,
Sure.
because you said psi is tensored with the entanglement bridge. I know basic math, I know multiplication, but tensored sounds like, I don't know, a comic book villain.
It does sound a bit sci-fi.
What does it actually mean in this context?
It's a mathematical operation called a tensor product. When you tensor two quantum states together, you aren't just like adding them up side by side.
Okay.
You are mathematically binding them so deeply that they essentially become a single composite system.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you can no longer describe your consciousness, that psi I, independently of the interdimensional bridge, the phi plus.
They're locked together.
Exactly.
Ah.
They are completely fused for the duration of the entire process.
Okay, let me try an analogy to see if I'm getting the actual mechanism here.
Go for it.
If my consciousness is this massive, complex computer file, this equation says we aren't trying to rip out my physical hard drive.
Meaning your physical brain.
Right. My brain. We aren't mailing that across dimensions. We are just isolating the raw data itself.
Yes, the pure information.
And we're using entanglement as like a secure Wi-Fi connection between the universes.
Well, I see where you're going with that. But Wi-Fi implies data is actually flying through the air.
Oh, like a signal traveling.
Right. It implies movement through space, traveling from a router to a laptop. And quantum mechanics actively avoids that here.
So no signal is actually crossing the gap.
No. A much better analogy for entanglement is having two magical diaries.
Okay, magical diaries. I like that.
If I read a sentence in the diary in Universe 1, the exact same ink instantaneously appears in the diary in Universe 2.
No matter how far apart they are.
Exactly. No matter the distance. There is no physical data traveling through the void between the books. They are just fundamentally, inextricably correlated.
Okay, that makes the whole tensor product thing make a lot more sense. My consciousness data is basically being written into that diary bridge.
Yes. And that is the crucial leap Dr. Sewell makes here.
Treating the mind as data.
Exactly. Treating human consciousness as a pure mathematical quantum state, that says I, is a massive, highly debatable assumption.
Because biologists would probably have a field day with this.
Oh, they would tear it apart. They'd argue consciousness is tangled up in the physical meat of the brain, the chemicals, the neurons.
Right.
But scientifically speaking, stripping away the mass is the only mathematically elegant way to even begin discussing teleportation.
Because otherwise it takes too much power.
It would take infinite energy. Trying to push physical mass through a dimensional boundary breaks literally every equation we have.
Ah, I see.
But information, however, is massless. It doesn't need to, push its way through a physical wall. It can just be written into the magical diary.
So we have digitized the mind. That's step one.
Step one, yes.
But that raises a massive logistical problem, doesn't
A
it?
few of them, yeah.
Because if the consciousness data is packaged and ready in the diary, what kind of cosmic operating system allows two completely different universes to even read the same book?
That is the big question.
Because the physics in Universe 1 might be completely alien compared to Universe 2. Gravity might push instead of pull over there.
Light might be a solid object.
Exactly. Standard physics equations would just fall apart the second you cross the border.
Which is precisely why Dr. Sewell abandoned standard physics for this next step.
And he turns to category theory.
He turns to category theory.
Yeah.
Because standard physics cares about the specific local rules. The gravity, the light, the mass.
And category theory doesn't?
Category theory doesn't care about any of that. It is essentially the mathematics of mathematics.
I have to admit, this is exactly where the paper got incredibly abstract for me.
It is notoriously abstract.
Because Dr. Sewell models entire, infinitely complex universes simply as objects, and the dimensional gates between them as morphisms. But why would you take an entire universe, with all its galaxies and histories and alien physical laws, and just reduce it to a simple, tiny object in an equation?
It seems counterintuitive, I know.
Doesn't shrinking reality down like that make the math totally useless?
Actually, no. That zooming out is exactly where the magic happens.
How so?
Well, in standard math, like set theory, for example, you care deeply about what is inside the set. You care about the specifics, the elements.
The actual contents.
Right. But category theory shifts the focus completely. It cares almost entirely about how an object relates to other objects.
Okay.
So by treating universes as objects and the gates between them as morphisms.
And morphism is like a structural transformation.
Exactly. A transformation or a pathway from A to B.
Yeah.
By doing that, Dr. Sewell is building a functional topological map of the multiverse.
Oh, so it's like a subway map.
A subway map is a perfect analogy.
Because when you look at a city subway map, for you listening, it doesn't show you the geological layers of the rock the tunnel was dug through.
It doesn't show you the wiring of the train's engine.
Right. It strips all of that physical reality away and just shows you that Station A connects to Station B via the red line.
Yes.
So the universe is the station, and the dimensional gate is the red line.
That is exactly how category theory functions here. Dr. Sewell doesn't need to know if gravity pushes or pulls in Universe 2.
Because that's just local station trivia.
Exactly. He only needs to know the mathematical relationship, the morphism, between Universe 1 and Universe 2.
That makes so much sense.
It gives us a framework to perform rigorous mathematical operations across dimensional borders, entirely without getting bogged down by localized physical details.
Okay, so we have the subway map, but knowing where the tracks go doesn't actually move the train.
No, it doesn't.
And more importantly, you need a mechanism that ensures the passenger doesn't turn into a puddle of randomized goo when they cross that border.
Which is a very real risk.
Because if I go into the gate as me, I want to come out the other side as me, not as some scrambled soup of childhood memories and random thoughts.
And that boundary crossing would be incredibly violent. You are abruptly moving from one set of foundational physical laws to a completely alien set.
Right.
The potential for the total corruption of your data is absolute.
So to solve this, Dr. Sewell introduces the TrueFlow Force.
Yeah.
And he models this force mathematically not as a physical pressure, but as a functor and a natural transformation.
That's right.
So keeping with our map analogy here, here's where it gets really interesting. If the morphisms are the tunnels connecting the universes, is the TrueFlow Force the subway car we ride in?
I would say it does a lot more heavy lifting than just a subway car.
Really?
Yeah, a functor doesn't just carry you, it actively translates you.
Translates me.
In category theory, a functor is a mapping that translates one entire category into another category while perfectly preserving the architecture of the relationships.
Wait, I need to put on my skeptic's hat here for a second.
Please do.
You're saying this functor just translates my consciousness. Let's say in Universe 1, my memories are stored in carbon-based brain cells.
Okay.
But in Universe 2, let's say life is made of crystallized light.
Sure.
How does a mathematical functor dictate a physical change from carbon to light? That sounds like pure magic.
It totally sounds like magic until you look at the mechanism of a natural transformation.
Which the paper couples with the functor.
Exactly. The functor isn't changing the carbon into light.
It's not.
No. The functor maps the relationships of your mind.
What do you mean by relationships?
Well, if your memory of your 10th birthday is connected to your fear of clowns in a very specific proportional way in Universe 1,
Okay, weirdly specific, but I'm with you.
the natural transformation ensures that exact structural relationship is perfectly aligned in whatever physical substrate exists in Universe 2.
Oh,
It preserves the mathematical shape of your identity. The local physics of Universe 2 provide the crystallized light,
right.
but the TrueFlow Force provides the blueprint of you to mold that light into your exact consciousness.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's not moving the physical pieces of the puzzle. It's moving the image on the puzzle.
Yes.
And it's adapting that image to whatever weird pieces the new universe gives you.
Exactly. It ensures dimensional continuity.
That is just brilliant.
And this mathematical rigor, treating it all as a natural transformation, is what guarantees the you arriving in Universe 2 is the exact same coherent you that left Universe 1.
Incredible. But there is a massive elephant in the room that we've been kind of dancing around.
I had a feeling we'd get here.
Sending a digitized consciousness across dimensions, even as pure data, still sounds a lot like faster than light travel.
It really does.
It sounds like pure sci-fi warp speed. And the universe has a hard speed limit.
The speed of light.
Right. So how does this mathematical model dodge Einstein's theory of relativity? Because you can't just break the laws of physics.
Well, that is the trap most science fiction falls into. They try to outrun light.
Yeah.
But Dr. Sewell explicitly states this process is not faster than light travel.
Yo.
No. He uses the phrase categorical reinstantiation.
Categorical reinstantiation.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you, that sounds like a legal loophole invented by a really expensive lawyer just to break the laws of physics.
It sounds like one, but it isn't a loophole. It is a completely different mechanism, and it's tied directly to the quantum no-cloning theorem.
The no-cloning theorem, remind me what that is.
So remember, we are using quantum teleportation protocols.
Right, the magical diaries.
In physics, the no-cloning theorem states that it is fundamentally impossible to create an identical copy of an unknown quantum state without destroying the original.
Wait, really? So you are literally copy-pasting a soul across reality, but the universe forces you to delete the original file so it doesn't throw a copyright strike.
That is a highly colloquial way to put it, but honestly, I have to admit, it's surprisingly accurate.
Wow.
The universe enforces its copyright very strictly. You are not putting a consciousness into a rocket ship and accelerating it past the speed of light.
Because there's no mass.
Exactly. Because there is no mass, there is no acceleration.
So walk me through that frame by frame. What actually happens when I cross over?
Okay, frame 1. Your quantum state is read in Universe 1.
Okay.
Frame 2. The very act of reading that state utterly destroys it here.
Yikes. Okay.
3. Using the entanglement bridge, an identical, indistinguishable quantum state is instantaneously instantiated in Universe 2.
Instantaneously.
Yes. The information doesn't travel through the space between the universes.
It's like the diary ink.
Exactly. It is read here, destroyed here, and rewritten there.
Mind-blowing.
Because nothing physically moved through space-time, Einstein's speed limit remains totally unbroken.
Because relativity only applies to things moving through space.
Exactly. Categorical reinstantiation just sidesteps the highway entirely.
My mind is officially blown. I mean, we've been evaluating this as pure theoretical physics and high-level mathematics.
And it is robust math.
That's the wild part. It actually holds up remarkably well in that abstract space. But, this is where the context of the source material completely flips the script on us.
The lore.
Yes, the lore. As I mentioned at the top, Dr. Sewell's paper isn't published in some peer-reviewed physics journal like Nature.
Right, it's in Bibe magazine.
Exactly. And it is embedded in this deeply surreal artistic context.
The world building surrounding this math is incredibly dense.
It really is. Like, the website and the Sovereign Diagnostics disclaimer explicitly state that this content is not affiliated with any real-world government or agency.
Okay.
It is authored as mythic infrastructure. They call it a cinematic indictment and a sovereign broadcast.
Those are powerful terms.
Yeah, and it's designed to expose things like ritualized containment, actor convergence, and systemic erosion.
Interesting.
We are also introduced to specific lore elements, right? Like Chapter 1 of the Dragon Rift Saga, which mentions a character named Saiku Venga.
Right, I remember reading about Saiku.
Saiku is described as someone who emerges from the rift, born between slip flow and counterflow, marked by SH1 resonance.
It is basically poetry inextricably mixed with quantum mechanics.
But why? So what does this all mean? Why go to the immense trouble of building this intensely rigorous mathematical framework?
Because the math is real.
Exactly. Actually applying real category theory, tensor products, Dirac notation. Why do all that just to serve as the mythic infrastructure for a cinematic universe? What do Saiku Venga and slipflow have to do with quantum equations?
Well, this raises an important question about intent.
Okay.
By dressing up deep systemic critiques in the language of high-level physics, Dr. Sewell is doing something fascinating here.
What's he doing?
He isn't just writing fiction. He is creating a diagnostic tool for how we navigate our own reality.
Let's break that down. How does mathematical topology diagnose reality?
Look at the mathematical language he chose.
Yeah.
Category theory, which is fundamentally about how boundaries are defined, how objects are contained, and how entire systems map onto one another.
Right.
Now look at the lore's language. Ritualized containment, systemic erosion. The mathematics actively force you to engage critically with the concepts of boundaries and containment.
Oh, I see. He's using the physics of escaping a literal universe to talk about escaping oppressive, restrictive systems in our real world.
Precisely. Let's look at Saiku Venga for a second.
Okay.
The lore says Saiku is born between flip flow and counterflow.
Yeah.
Slip flow can be seen as the mainstream currents, right? The accepted categories and boundaries of society.
Sure.
And counterflow is the resistance, the friction against those systems.
Okay.
So by navigating the rift between them, Saiku is undergoing a societal morphism.
A structural transformation of identity.
Exactly. And that SH1 resonance, that is the marker of someone who has successfully maintained their true flow.
Their core identity.
Yes.
Yeah.
They've kept their identity intact despite the crushing pressure of crossing those societal boundaries.
Oh, so the TrueFlow Force, that functor we talked about earlier, that perfectly translates an identity so it survives a physical universe crossing.
Yes.
It becomes this brilliant metaphor for holding on to your core self.
Exactly. It's about how you maintain your true identity when you are forced to navigate through alienating systemic structures that basically want to scramble you into something else.
Oh, absolutely. The math is real, the physics are theoretically grounded, but the application is deeply human.
That is just gorgeous.
It asks us a fundamental question. When the world around you changes its rules, how do you preserve your coherence?
Wow. What an incredible journey for you listening right now.
It really is.
I mean, we started with the radical idea of reducing human consciousness to a massless quantum data file.
A huge leap. We mapped a path across an infinite multiverse using the abstractions of category theory, proving that sometimes, zooming out to a subway map is the only way to solve a problem.
Stripping away the local details.
Right. Then we powered that journey with a TrueFlow Force, a functor guaranteeing we actually survived the trip intact. We realized we weren't breaking the speed of light, but utilizing the loophole of categorical reinstantiation.
The universe's copyright law.
Yes. And finally, we pulled back the curtain to realize we were actually exploring a mythic infrastructure, a cinematic indictment designed to diagnose the systemic boundaries of our own real lives.
It is a profound synthesis of disciplines.
It really is.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up this deep dive, there is one final lingering thought I want to explore.
Okay.
Because we spent all this time talking about moving consciousness between entirely different universes.
Right.
But what happens if we turn that lens inward, back on ourselves?
Well, there is an implicit consequence to this math that I haven't been able to stop thinking about since I read it.
Really? What is it?
We've established that quantum consciousness can be categorically reinstantiated across entirely different universes instantaneously.
Yes.
But if that mechanism works mathematically, what if that is exactly how our own subjective experience of time works? Right here, right now.
Wait, walk me through that.
We assume our consciousness flows smoothly from one second to the next, right?
Yeah, like water down a river.
Exactly. But what if your feeling of continuous consciousness isn't a smooth flow at all?
What else would it be?
What if mathematically your brain is constantly and instantaneously reinstantiating your quantum state from 1 millisecond to the next?
Oh my God.
According to the no-cloning theorem, the original state must be destroyed to create the new one.
So it's deleting the past me.
Yes. So you aren't moving continuously through time. You are being destroyed and perfectly reinstantiated, frame by frame, quantum state by quantum state.
Millisecond by millisecond?
Right here in this universe.
Yeah.
You just perceive it as a continuous flow.
Oh, wow. I don't think I'm going to look at a ticking clock the same way ever again.
It changes everything.
Every passing second is just a successful quantum teleportation of myself into the future.
Precisely.
That is terrifying and absolutely beautiful. We are just continuously crossing the boundary of the present moment.
With the TrueFlow Force actively working to maintain your coherence 1 millisecond at a time.
Keep questioning the boundaries of your own reality. Look for the morphisms, and we'll see you next time.